Walking into a repair shop when you don't know what's wrong with your car is one of the most uncomfortable positions you can be in as a consumer. You're stressed. You're inconvenienced. The person across the counter knows infinitely more than you do about the thing that's broken, and somewhere in the back of your head you've heard the stories. The quote that turned out to be triple what it should have been. The repair that didn't fix anything. The friend who got hit with a 4-figure bill for what turned out to be a $50 part. So today I want to talk about how to walk into that shop as an informed customer. Not as someone who assumes every mechanic is a crook, because most aren't, and the cynical, they're all out to get you. Framing actually makes you a worse customer and a more profitable target for the shops that do play games. What I want to talk about is closing the information gap, because the information gap is where you get hurt. First tip, pull the codes before you go. A basic OBD2 scanner costs about $25 on Amazon. Most major auto parts chains will read your codes for free right in the parking lot. Do this before you take the car anywhere. But here's the part nobody explains. A trouble code is not a diagnosis. It's a starting point. P420 doesn't mean your catalytic converter is bad. It means catalyst system efficiency below threshold, bank 1. That could be a failing catalytic converter. It could also be a lazy oxygen sensor giving the computer bad readings. It could be a small exhaust leak upstream of the rear O2 sensor. It could be a misfire that's slowly killing the cat. The code tells the mechanic where to look. The diagnosis comes after testing. When you walk into a shop already knowing your code, two things happen. One, you can tell whether they're actually diagnosing the problem or jumping straight to selling you a part. Two, they know you're paying attention, and the shops that count on customer ignorance treat informed customers very differently. Second tip, and memorize this one, ask what test confirmed the diagnosis. This is the single most powerful question you can ask in a repair shop. What test did you perform to confirm that diagnosis? If the answer is a real test, they pulled the injectors and checked spray pattern, they did a compression test on each cylinder, they tested the fuel pressure at idle and at load, they swapped a known good coil into the misfiring cylinder and watched the misfire follow it. That's diagnostic work. That's what you're paying for. If the answer is vague, well, with that code it's usually or in our experience, that's a guess. Guesses cost you money because they sometimes don't fix the problem, and now you're paying for the second guess too. A good mechanic will not be offended by this question. A good mechanic will explain what they tested, often pull you out into the shop and show you. The mechanics who get defensive about being asked to justify their diagnosis are the ones you cannot afford to do business with. Third tip, get the estimate in writing, itemized. Not a number on a sticky note, not around $2,000. A written estimate with parts itemized by name and part number, labor itemized by job and hours, taxes broken out, and shop fees disclosed. Most states actually require this on request, and in some states they can't legally exceed the written estimate by more than 10% without calling you for authorization. When you have it itemized, you can do two things. You can look up part prices on Rock Auto or directly from the manufacturer and see if you're being charged 3 times retail. And you can compare labor hours against published labor guides. Most shops use a book that says, for example, that a starter replacement on your specific year and engine is 1.8 hours of labor. If your shop is billing 4 hours on that same job, you have a question to ask. Fourth tip, on any major repair, get a second opinion. I'd set the threshold somewhere between $500 and $1,000 depending on your situation. Anything above that is worth the inconvenience of driving the car to a second shop or having it towed or paying another diagnostic fee. I cannot tell you how often a second opinion comes back completely different. Not because the first shop is necessarily lying, though sometimes they are. More often, 2 technicians look at the same symptoms and draw different conclusions, and one of them is right and one is wrong. The second opinion is cheap insurance. And when you get that second opinion, do not tell the second shop what the first shop said. Walk in with the symptoms only. If they independently arrive at the same diagnosis, your confidence in that diagnosis just went way up. If they don't, now you have something to investigate. Fifth tip, ask for the old parts back. In most states, this is your legal right unless the part is being returned to a manufacturer for a core charge or warranty claim. Tell them at drop-off, I want the old parts back. This does 2 things. It lets you see whether the part actually looks failed. A worn brake pad, a leaking water pump, a burnt-out coil pack will look like what it is, and a part that looks brand new is a question worth asking. And it tells the shop that you are the kind of customer who verifies. Customers who verify do not get padded invoices. Sixth tip, know the upsells. There is a category of services that shops push hard because they are extremely profitable and almost never needed on the schedule recommended. Coolant flushes every 30,000 miles. Transmission flushes on cars whose manufacturer says the fluid is lifetime. Fuel injection cleaning services. Engine treatments. Throttle body cleaning at every oil change. Cabin air filter replacement at every visit, when it costs $8 at the parts store and takes you 4 minutes. The single best defense against upsells is your owner's manual. Every car comes with a maintenance schedule from the manufacturer. That schedule is what you follow, not what the service writer hands you on a clipboard. If a shop is recommending services more frequently than your manufacturer does, ask why. Sometimes there's a real reason. Often there isn't. 7th tip, and this is the most important one in the whole video. Find a good shop before you need one. This is the tip nobody follows. You should not be shopping for a mechanic when your car is broken. You should be shopping for a mechanic when your car is fine. Use small jobs to audit a shop. Get an oil change, get tires rotated, get an inspection, watch how they handle the visit. Did they try to upsell you on 6 things? Did they recommend services not in your manual? Did the technician come out and explain anything? Did they look you in the eye? The mechanic you want is one who, when nothing is wrong with your car, tells you nothing is wrong with your car. When you find that shop, you stick with them. You refer your friends. You leave good reviews. And when something does break, you have a person you trust standing between you and a 4-figure repair. A few red flags to close out. Pressure to decide right now. You can't drive this home when the car drove fine to the shop. Vague language. Your engine is sludged up. Your transmission is going, without a specific failure mode and a specific test. Refusal to show you the problem. Refusal to put the estimate in writing. Refusal to return old parts. A different number every time you ask. Salespeople instead of technicians doing the explaining. And the green flags. Shows you the problem on the lift. Explains it in language you understand. Itemized written estimate. Doesn't push add-ons. Comfortable being asked questions. Returns calls. Has been in the same location with the same name for more than 5 years. You don't need to become a mechanic to stop getting ripped off at the shop. You need to ask 3 questions. What's the code? What test? Confirm the diagnosis. Can I see it in writing? And you need to find your shop before you need it. That's the whole game. If this was useful, hit like and tell me in the comments what your shop has tried to upsell you on. I read them. See you in the next